a Skoda 400 next year. But back with us right now is this incredible field of GT and special saloons, modified sports cars and modified special saloons, and indeed a nice little mixture on the front row of the grid there. We can see Basil Dagg, number 74. Although he comes from England, from Nottingham, in fact he was born in Tinahely in County Wicklow, and is a very regular visitor here at Phoenix Park, back every year. It's 998cc motor car, and indeed he's been racing it for something like 12 years. You would hardly think to look at it. Alongside him, another visitor from England, number 7, Ian Higgins. He comes from Liverpool. It's a Ginetta G4. It's 1425 cc's, a beautiful little motor car, very low to the ground, as you can see, and to the best of my knowledge, his first visit to Phoenix Park, so he'll be very pleased with himself at getting on to the front row of the grid. On the second row of the grid will be number 63. There he is, Fintan Newport from County Sligo. Again, a very, very special saloon. It is actually based on an Escort. It's 1300cc, and it's got all the lightweight panels, and indeed the driver obviously sweltering here in the Phoenix Park heat, as are most of the officials, and trying to get a little bit of ventilation there into the cockpit. Fintan Newport, very experienced driver who should go well here today. Alongside him, another one of the visitors, number 88. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a Mini. Believe it or not, a highly modified Mini. Viv Wallace, again, a newcomer to Phoenix Park. It's a complete space frame motor car, totally lightweight. If you open up the boot, you see nothing but a sheet of aluminium and a battery in the thing, and it's been going very quickly, as we can see in practice this morning. Third row of the grid will be number 42, one of our homegrown drivers, Liam Plower, in an MG Midget. And then we have Morgan Dempsey, number 1, there on the row behind the Mini here. We'll see it now in a minute. There they are. On the left, 42, Liam Plower. And this car has been very successful this year. But alongside me in the commentary box is Brian Chute, a gentleman who has raced on many occasions in Modsports, and indeed has been doing a little bit of exercising today. But he has not only raced these motor cars, but the particular car that we're looking at the moment, he has won in the Phoenix Park. Brian, great fun in the Modsports.
Yes, these aren't your hybrid racing cars like the Formula cars we've looked at. These are the specialists, the home-built cars by the men at home. We actually bring them in on the kitchen table at times. My wife got very upset once we built a gearbox on the table. But to drive these around here, slightly different to the Formulas. They were never built as racing cars, but it's really fun. But on your ordinary Irish bumpy road, it can be very, very hairy, as I found out 10 minutes ago.
Right, Morgan Dempsey, what sort of money are we talking about in these cars, Brian?
These cars at the moment are changing hands for about £1,000, £1,500. The ones towards the back of the grid, maybe £800, £900. It's a cheap formula and a very good way of getting into motor racing. The Minis, as opposed to the Midgets, the front-wheel drive ones, they're much the same price, around £1,000, £1,500.
Well, you can probably think they have all gone clean mad at the moment, but what in actual fact they're doing is trying to warm up their racing tires. These cars race on slick rubber, and if you were wandering around the paddock and hadn't been to a motor race before, you might think that the poor drivers were impoverished, because there isn't a tread on the tire. In actual fact, they're very molten, sticky rubber, and they only operate at quite high temperatures. So on the warm-up laps, what they have to do is not only warm up the tires by weaving about, getting them up to temperature, they also have to test out their brakes, and that means warming them up, the brake pads, up to racing temperature. Number 74, Basil Dagg, and number 7, the 2 front row of the grid gentlemen there, coming down into Ratra hairpin, down from the very quick parts. Down they come, and off the grass, Basil Dagg, which is a rather strange thing to do in the warming up lap, and it could mean, in fact, that his tyres are not up to temperature yet, Brad.
Possibly. The slicks on these cars are fairly wide compared to the Formula 4 tires, which are fairly about 9-10 inch slicks. And it takes a good lap of the Phoenix Park to get them into the sticky situation where they grip. Also, we can have over-enthusiastic drivers. On your first time down to Ratra, you think it's all easy. It's been a couple of hours since practice, and they think, oh, it's handy, we'll go into Ratra. They forget that the tires, they definitely take this full lap, and the steering becomes heavy. As they warm up, you can feel the tires actually getting stickier, and your brakes begin to bed in.
Well, a whole stream of them coming down through Phoenix Bend. A fabulous camera angle that we have there, looking down on the straight, up to the start line. And then, of course, the flag will drop, and it'll be a quick blast up through the gearbox and down into Mountjoy, the one that every racing driver dreads. Those horrible first 40 seconds of a motor race here at Phoenix Park, because you go very quickly off the start line and then down into Mountjoy corner, and quite a deal of worry inside the helmet that time, because you're going to think there's about 30 other cars coming into the back of you.
Everybody tries to head for the inside line to keep you. I see that's Morgan Dempsey being pulled off the grid at the moment. This is a car Morgan built himself, a very unusual midget. It has the radiator in the back, in the boot of it, and the air intake is on the door. That's...
Cliff Dempsey, then, who's moved up from 850cc racing into Modsports this year, and in trouble already. What a tragedy. The two Dempsey brothers, of course, in this race. You can see his brother in the other white car on the left-hand side of your picture. There he is. So Brother Morgan must be wondering what's happened to Cliff, and a lot of his support has gone in this one. So back in the front, the two cars we're going to be looking for is Ian Higgins in the sports car, and number 74, Basil Dagg in the highly modified Hillman Imp. A quick shot there of number 30, Podrick Ford, one of the Modsports drivers from Loughrea. And Dempsey is going to be on the grid. Number 32, Cliff Dempsey, is going to make it. So the two brothers Dempsey, or is he? No, he's not. He's retiring. What a tragedy. So he doesn't even get started. A lot of smoke coming out, and the flag is down, and away they go. A lot of smoke coming out of the second row of the grid, and Viv Wallace there, and Viv Wallace in the little Mini making a superb start and going through the middle. Viv Wallace in the Mini leads the pack down into Mountjoy for the first time. Look at Fintan Newport on the inside in the Escort. Basil Dagg also well positioned there. But it's Viv Wallace in the Mini. First time into Mountjoy. It seems incredibly quick, and he gets around. Basil Dagg in second place. And in fact, Ian Higgins been up, and somebody right round in the middle of it. Oh, a hard stopper there for the Hillman Imp. I think it was Ned Murray who did that, number 43, Ned Murray, on the whole back, hanging off the motor car, tearing away in shreds. But with a beautiful lead, Viv Wallace really did it all right there, Brian.
Yes, it's unusual to get a start as clean as that. We only had one spinner. Viv Wallace, this car, an unbelievable Mini, like a fiberglass shell of a Mini placed on a space frame. That's a tubular chassis. The bonnet actually sits up over the windscreen. They've lowered the car that much. Now, this has been built with loving care. Everything on the car is chromed, and it's a credit to him.
Right, and in second place we saw Fintan Newport in the BDA Engine Escort. Beautifully prepared car. Just going through the field there was George Frame. But it's still Viv Wallace, and it's a really good moderation. Fintan Newport goes around, connects Basil Dagg. Oh, Newport. And the car is in shreds. Dagg's car must also be damaged. How on earth did number 7 Higgins miss it? The bonnet's off Newport's car. He's got to come into the pits. But it gives the Englishman, or to be more correct, the Welshman, Viv Wallace, a very nice little lead. And look at Basil Dagg's car. It's almost also damaged. You can see something holding out from the back of it. We should get a close-up shot of it here as it comes through the corner. No, that's Viv Wallace, number 88. And Marshall's getting Beverly off the road. And really quite a dramatic incident, that one.
Dramatic. Unfortunate for Fintan. He spun, but I think that white dust you saw was Basil Dagg's fire extinguisher going off in the car. I don't think it was cement dust. A great effort from Fintan, a privateer again from Tubbercurry, to be up there with these very, very highly tuned English cars.
And David Slater getting himself in a bit of a twitch there in car number 3 as he came around Mountjoy, but he's got it all together again. Race leader, number 88 then, Viv Wallace. Viv Wallace in the Mini from Carphilly. An amazing motor car, complete space frame car, totally lightweight. Dagg right with him. Dagg right on his tail now. Basil Dagg, no stranger to Phoenix Park, knows all the bumps and twists and turns. And Viv Wallace goes in very early, Dagg goes in quite late and should be a little bit quicker down the back straight, but surprisingly not. And right there with them too, Ian Higgins. Ian Higgins very well positioned. Then the first of the mod sports, Liam Plower, number 42, in an excellent position.
Well, Liam, this car, as we spoke earlier, is the best of the Irish midgets, the best of the Irish midgets. Here's Fintan coming through, no bonnet, the car falling apart. There's a very good chance he'll be black flagged. That means the clerk of the course will ask him to come in to inspect the car. If it looks in a dangerous condition, something could fall off it and strike the car behind it. Unfortunate for Fintan, but maybe if the clerk of the course sees it, he'll let him continue. You can see the front of it hanging off as he's going around. That's
number 63 then, Fintan Newport, with the car in absolute tatters, and surely that won't be allowed to continue. Just look at the damage. Surely the radiator also damaged to that motor car must be due to overheat. And Dagg goes through into the lead. Number 74, Basil Dagg, takes the lead as they go down into Raksha. They're on their third lap of this 10-lap GT race. And there he goes, up flat out through the left-hander. But Wallace hasn't given up by any manner of means. Viv Wallace hanging on very gamely there. And some news, Eddie Hill in the pits with overheating, and Leo Nolan in the pits out of the race with a damaged wing. Viv Wallace, a very different line, as you can see from Basil Dagg there, and there's not too much difference with the two cars coming down the straight. So Viv Wallace holding on extremely well.
Well, you have the two types of car. You have the Mini of Viv Wallace, which is the front-wheel drive, and you've got Basil Dagg in the Imp, which is rear-wheel drive. Now, they slipstream each other. That's where they get in behind each other and they tow each other around. This is motor racing at its best. The Imp takes a wide line because of the rear-wheel drive, yet the Mini with the front-wheel drive can tuck into the right-hand side of the road and close the door. Top speed for both of them would be roughly the same, and at the moment I think the Mini man is getting more used to the park and he's beginning to use the front-wheel power.
And surprisingly, we don't see a black flag out for Fintan Newport there, number 63. We have just taken a scout over to the pits area, but there's no sign of him coming in. The battle royal, though, certainly on for first place. Viv Wallace with Basil Dagg right with him again. And a tremendous performance these two drivers are putting up. Both English-based, of course, and as indeed is the third place man there, Ian Higgins in the Ginetta, just in your picture to the left. But number 88, Viv Wallace, has got a more commanding lead this time from 74, Basil Dagg, and then number 7, Ian Higgins. And Dagg going to have a go, but there isn't much room there coming into Phoenix. Dagg is in danger, and he's gone. Dagg is in trouble. In dire trouble. What a shame. Up into second place goes Ian Higgins. Brian, any idea what could be wrong with that car?
Dagg in the tight ones looks as if it's a second gear problem. Down at Mountjoy, he found it very hard to get out. Now he's on the straight. You can see he's beginning to pick up again. It looks possibly if he's got gearbox trouble. He's not braking as late as the Mini, and he doesn't seem to get out of the corner, so it's a low down problem, because once he gets down the straight in third, fourth and fifth, he can motor on well. The Ginetta is a front-engine car, again very light, and should be well competitive with the Imp and the Mini. It'll be unfortunate now if Dagg has got gearbox problems, because it'll take the good sport out of this race we were having between the Mini and the Imp.
There's the leader, number 88, with now a much more comfortable situation. He's on his fifth lap, but the Ginetta is right with him. He's come from nowhere. Ian Higgins has really put on the pressure now. He was on the front row of the grid, remember, whereas Wallace was on the second row. And Dagg is still holding on there. How extraordinary. We wondered did Basil Dagg miss a gear. There he is in third place, Basil Dagg, still holding on to these two. Number 88 then, Viv Wallace. And he comes up onto the straight, one of the back markers in the way, and a challenge could come from Higgins in this lap.
The Ginetta has a Ford engine. It should be on par, power-wise, with the Mini. if he can get a toe now, which he's doing, tucked in behind that Mini, he can pull out. If he can go down the inside, he'll outbrake the Mini into Mountjoy. I think Wallace is getting very used to the Phoenix Park. Every lap he's getting Mountjoy better and better. He's broken the toe, so now down the back straight, unless the Ginetta can get up behind him, he'll lose. He's on the grass. This is one mistake like that, the Ginetta will be alongside him, and it'll be a long toe. Now, it's a brave man that will try to pass on the left-hand side on the back straight of the park. It's one of the bumpiest roads, and you're thrown offline very easy.
The other amazing thing is that the Mini number 88 of Viv Wallace has only 998 cc's, less than 1,000 cc's, compared to the 1425 cc in the Ginetta. And Dagg right with them too. Where has he come from? Basil Dagg going through to take the lead, taking two cars at once, but he has to queue up behind Viv Wallace for Ratra. Superb performance these three drivers are putting on for us. They're on the 6th lap of a 10-lap race, and this is the most they've been all the time. It must get pretty hairy in that sort of company, and down they come. Dagg trying for the inside, and he touches him, and round goes Wallace up over the grass. And Wallace is destroyed in the middle of the track there, right on the racing line. Oh, the Higgins is back into the little right where Basil's there, but the digger. And it's Higgins with the pink lid goes through. One of the most outstanding GT races I think we've ever witnessed at Phoenix Park.
Well, I think that was Dagg's corner. If Wallace was going to close the door, he should have closed it about 20 yards back. He left it open, Dagg made the move, and then any driver would not back off. Get half your car down the inside of someone coming into a hairpin like that, it's too late to close the door. So he's away now, Dagg. I still feel that his problem is in the hairpins, because when he gets top speed on the back, he can catch them. Whatever the problem is, seems to be getting out of the slow corners. Now, the Ginetta can catch him here on the way to Dublin corner, but once he gets up in his 4th and 5th gears, the power to weight, he really has this thing motoring.
And there goes Basil Dagg then, with Ian Higgins, number 7 in the Ginetta, right on his tail. And the fastest lap going to Basil Dagg, not surprisingly, 1 minute 32 so far. You can see the damage on the right-hand side of the car where he contacted Fintan Newport earlier on in the race. But it doesn't seem to have affected his performances at all. In fact, if anything, it's probably woken up the English driver, or the Irishman now living in England, to be more correct. But look at this, another attack coming from the Ginetta. We think at the end of the straight, diving down the inside. Liverpool driver, but he took it too early. Pulled out of the slipstream too early.
We should christen him Basil Brush. He's had a brush now with 2 of them. Fintan Newport tried to put him away, and he's still surviving. He's had this great smash coming down into Dublin, and he's still motoring. Now, this shows how strong these cars are built. They're tubular chassis with very, very, very sophisticated fiberglass nose, mainly in one piece, as you saw on the Escort. If they contact something, they just fly off in one piece. It's not panels like your normal car. And built into the tubular section is this roll-over bar, which is a full cage. Now, the Ginetta hasn't got the top speed on the back straight. There's Dagg pulling away, but when they come into Ratra hairpin, which is a 1st gear corner, the Ginetta closes up and can pull on him coming out of it. So Dagg has got to keep the distance coming towards the finish.
And the Ginetta has slowed dramatically. Something has gone horribly wrong for Ian Higgins. He's still not in our picture. He's crawling back towards the start. And it's Dagg all the way coming up to lap George Frame there in the Fiat Ritmo, a regular saloon car racer at Mandela Park. George Frame in the Fiat Ritmo, Group 2 car. And Basil Dagg coming up to take him, and this puts him at the end of his 8th lap into a very comfortable lead. So 2 laps to go, and we can just see Ian Higgins coming into picture now rather slowly as he came around Phoenix corner there. So Dagg is first, and then we have a long, long gap before we would get 2nd place car, not in picture, Liam Plower in the MG Midget and leader of that particular clan. But Basil Dagg certainly has earned this victory. If he can keep it together for the next 2 laps, he has literally been in the wars today.
It's amazing that out of the 4 starters in that class, Dagg is the only one still motoring. you have a situation where the engines are so highly tuned. They are on the last very little bit of power. Everything is ground down, everything is bored out to the biggest they can get. And unless you have everything exactly right, if they overheat, they go bang. What you see there is Dagg passing the back markers. Now, this could cause him a problem. If we still had the Ginetta, this would have made room for the Ginetta to catch up.
George Frame then, and there's Liam Plower. Liam Plower now up into second place, going past George Frame, having passed Higgins slot. The sun, and down he comes into Phoenix, really throwing it about. Liam thoroughly enjoying his outing here this afternoon. So Plower comes up the straight, and number 111 in the pits in big bother. It's Sean Murphy in the Cooper S from Dartry, and the leader on the last lap, Basil Dagg. Basil Dagg just gone out of picture, and somebody coming down very quickly on the inside there. Another one of the midgets, number 6. That's Johnny Flynn. And Johnny Flynn, he races under a rather unusual banner.
Johnny is son of the famous Flynn family. His mother, I think, took part in the Monte Carlo rally, and his father, Joe, has been a great enthusiast in MGs. Now, Johnny has built this car himself, and he is in contention at the moment. I'd say he's in second place. Dagg is in a completely different class, so the midgets are racing against each other. So number 42, Liam Plower, and number 6 are actually in a class of their own, and they're racing. Liam is first in that class, and I would say Johnny Flynn is number 2 in that class.
Basil Dagg then coming up through the left-hander after Ratra and up into Phoenix for the last time. And what a fraught race he's had. There will be a little bit of repairs done, but it will all have been well worth it when he takes her up through the gearbox for the last time. Victory now in sight. And a very, very hard-earned victory for the Nottingham man indeed. Takes the checkered flag. Back and looking at Johnny Flynn again there. Number 6 going through the picture. Liam Plower in second place and leader of the Modsports class. And then we're going to get the battle for third place between number 69 and number 6. In fact, they had been lapped. So there you are. An absolutely superb GT race. A tremendous mixture, and incredible pictures presented to us by Ian Higgins, Basil Dagg, and of course Viv Wallace earlier on. So the leader will very much need to relax now as it goes down the back. A pretty good one, Brian. You wish you were out there.
Yes, it's good. The power difference between the two cars, there was no way Liam could catch him, but that has been an ambition of Liam's to win the Modsports race in the park. This car, built about 4 or 5 years ago, has changed hands. We've had 4 different owners on this car, and he shares it with his mechanic sometimes, John Keeney, who wins regularly at Mondello. Liam has been racing about 4 or 5 years. He's done the park twice. He has had the car for 2 years, and there's, as I said, 4 or 5 owners before him. They swap over cars, they've changed hands, and it's one of the cheaper classes of motor racing there is.
And it's all one big happy family in the Motorsports camp. There'll be great celebrations there tonight. Basil Dagg, then the overall winner, Liam Plower, the winner of the Modsports class, and there he goes, helmet off, all relaxed. The tinted windows in the 998cc Hillman Imp, very wide tires, very lightweight plastic panels on the motor car. Really, the only restrictions in these cars are that they have to remain in a sort of silhouette shape of the original motor car. George Frame's interesting Fiat Ritmo there at the back of that group. It's not so much a lightweight car as panels are not yet available for it. So the winner, its average speed of 82.30 miles an hour. So that's pretty good by any standards in a saloon car when you consider that you've got to go right down to about 20 to 25 miles an hour at Ratra hairpin. And there's Viv Wallace's car. and rather scratching his head there in the background and pretty upset about the whole thing, and the marshals all running around it. One of his mechanics there in the yellow t-shirt just got out of vision, and probably not too badly damaged, but certainly a fair bit of bodywork repair required. And what a fabulous race there. There is the bonnet. There is the whole front section of the motor car, pushing it all away and back to take it out another day. And you can just see how lightweight the whole thing is, and huge big wheels, plastic panels everywhere, and it's no wonder it disintegrates when it gets a little tap.